Now the Matsya avatar is like, not the Matsya, the Kurma, the tortoise. That is like the most significant from a yogic point of view, because it is actually symbolism of activating Kundalini, and it is an entire metaphor for the entire yogic process of activating the Kundalini and coming to enlightenment. Because the story is very simple. There is a cosmic ocean which is like consciousness, and they need to churn it. Yes, Sagaramanta, Samudramanta, they need to churn it. What do they churn it with? They churn it with Meru. Meru is the cosmic mountain at the center, which by the way is your spine. And the Devas, who are the light side, and the Asuras, who are the dark side, are pulling the cosmic serpent, Vasuki, from either end. And what is that mountain supported on? It is supported on the Kurma Avatara. Now the Kurma, the tortoise, is a very interesting animal because it can breathe in water and it can breathe on land. It is a transition. It is a transition of consciousness. From one state of consciousness to another. From instinct to awareness. The water is always a symbol of instinct. The water is always a symbol of emotion. Air is a symbol of the mind. So the kurma is the animal that can take you from your emotion to your mind, and vice versa. And that symbol, the serpent, the Agni serpent, the serpent is always the symbol of the Kundalini. So basically, and the tortoise is the symbol of the prana, the breath. So founding yourself on the breath, if you churn your spine with the serpent of the Kundalini, stuff happens. What is the first thing that comes out when they do the churning? Kalakuta, hala hala, cosmic poison. Yeah? All the mess, all the negativity, all the pain, sorrow, suffering, anger, hatred, everything that is within you. Because yata pinda tata brahmande, you and the brahmanda, that is macrocosm, you are microcosm. As is within you, that is how the universe is. Everything that is dark and negative and the mess, the minute you start doing some kind of sadhana, some kind of yogic process, that surfaces. Now this is supposed to be a Vaishnava myth. Guess who they call to help when that comes up? Who drinks the halahal? Who drinks the kalakuta? Shiva. Shiva is an aspect of consciousness. He is pure consciousness. The only way you can deal with that arising, the eruption of your negative side, your shadow side, your dark side, your pain body, is to access the Shiva side or the conscious awareness. You need to be aware. You need to be. And where does he hold it? In the throat. Nilakanta, the blue throat. That is why he's called the blue throat. And then that spreads across. Now again, that is very, because this is the, which chakra is this? In the name of Vishuddhi. The Vishuddhi is how we engage with the world. The Vishuddhi is the source of communication. The Vishuddhi is the source of personal power. Now when you are in the world, you need to have a few faults. Yeah? To be a success, you must have virtues enough to be loved and faults enough to be hated. So people should realize that you cannot be taken for granted. So if you keep that in the Vishuddhi, if you keep all those negatives in the Vishuddhi, not only they cannot control you, it gives you tremendous power. It gives you tremendous power. But with awareness, you should keep it. And that blue light is the light of consciousness that transforms, because when you are deep in yoga, you start experiencing that blue light, and it is called Nila Lohita Shiva, the blue light of Shiva. It's a very, very fortunate thing to get. When you start seeing that, it's a particular vibration, it's a particular kind of light, and that poison is being transformed to the light. It is not that the poison made his throat. It is not that the poison, and nowhere in the books I have seen that Parvati got his throat. Yeah. पता नहीं ये सब romantic subtext where it comes from. He is Shiva, he knows what he is doing, and she is Parvati. She is not stupid that by grabbing his throat. So this is where we can not only hold our negativity, our pain, sorrow, suffering, we can transform it. Once that pain, sorrow, suffering, all the negative side of the consciousness is thrown out, then all the blessing starts coming. Yeah?
Thrown out in the sense when you
See, we are not aware of it. We are not aware of it normally. We suppress it, we repress it. We don't like to accept that we have faults. We don't like to accept that we have greed. We don't like to accept that we have anger, that we have hatred, that we have jealousy. Yes, ईर्ष्या is number one in Indian emotion. भारत में एक ही स्थायी भावना होती है और वो है ईर्ष्या. Kapilavatsya, very famous cultural critic, said. So we don't like to accept all those things. But when we do the yogic process, any yogic process, the journey happens automatically. The energy starts moving along the spine because the breath is now moving. And the first thing that comes up are all these unpleasant aspects about yourself. And that the only way to deal with it is to activate that Shiva energy, to activate the awareness, to activate the attention. And then it can be held in your throat. Now if you are too nice, that is a problem. You cannot live in the world. You should not be too nice. That is what they say. Have enough virtues to be loved and enough faults to be feared. So you need that. But it is that light, that transformative light is what? In the beginning we have to work with what we have. And what we have is usually more negative than positive. So that blue light transforms, the Nila Lohita transforms that negative into the positive. Then the gift starts coming. Then the Kamadhenu comes and the Dhanvantri comes and Lakshmi also comes and Galan Vishnu. All that means that in your life, abundance is going to happen. Prosperity is going to happen. Healing is going to happen. Because finally at the end, Dhanvantri comes with the Amrita. Yeah? And that again is a deeper yogic process. When you are at a certain level of yoga, the Amrita starts dropping from the top of the head and you can actually catch it with your tongue. It starts dropping from your brain. It drops in all of us, but it falls directly into the stomach and is burnt by the fire over there. But when you come to a certain level of awareness, you can actually stop it from falling into the stomach, and that's when people get transformed. People get transformed. So within this one story, there was this whole inner thing which was kept very secret for some reason. I don't know why. But this is the way. But that is how you need to look at a story. Now, it is not possible unless you are already in some kind of sadhana. It is not possible until you have already awakened a little bit. Because stories can be read at the literal level, and then if your energy is up a little bit, they start vibrating and they start communicating different things. There's a yogic process called samyama. When you need to know something, you just put your full mind, body, emotion, attention onto it, and the inner truth starts getting revealed. The inner truth starts getting revealed. So this is how they would tell you the story and they would tell you, now go think about this story. What is the story teaching you? And then you would have to go back and tell the Guru, this is what I understood, this is what I understood, this is what I understood. He would say, go back and think some more. Until you begin to feel that movement and transformation within yourself. So that entire cosmic process, even in Angkor Vat, you know Angkor Vat, it is in Cambodia, it is the world's largest Hindu temple. It's the world's largest Hindu temple, not in India, but only 800 years old. वहाँ विष्णु का है, एकदम Chinese looking विष्णु, right on the second floor they have. But they have this whole Sagara Manthan, half a kilometer long ka panel, sculpture panel. Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Except over there, Ravana is holding one end and Hanuman is holding the other end. Yeah? And even where the demons went, they went straight to where the serpents' hoods are. So as they are pulling Vasuki, poison is coming out and they are getting weakened. And the gods, more clever or more humble, they are holding the tail. So when the Kundalini rises, it is better to be behind it than in front of it. Because if you are in front of it, and please realize that the Matsya Avatar, the Kurma Avatara is a double avatar because Vishnu has two forms in it. What is the other form? Mohini. When you finally do your process, you get huge temptation. That temptation is the Amrita. And you can use that ability for either negative things like the Asuras wanted to do, or you can use it for positive things. So Mohini had to trick. Though of course Mohini is never worshipped. I think there is one temple somewhere where the front Murti is Krishna and the back Murti is Mohini. That's about the only place. Because if you worship Mohini, you're God. Mohit ka matlab hai that your reason, your brain doesn't function anymore. You are enraptured, enchanted. Yes? You have gone mad. Your reason has been completely taken away, and there is only now water. There is only emotion. So Mohini cannot be worshipped. So there are certain aspects of God that cannot be worshipped. You can try with the experiment, but nowhere. And I think there is one other temple. Hoysalas have some. Hampi mein there is a Mohini Murti, but it's not a worshipped. Mohini cannot be worshipped. It's very, very dangerous thing. Mohini cannot be worshipped. So this is how it moves in these deeper yogic levels. So at that moment, that temptation comes to you. Now you have done your yogic process, years you have done your sadhana, and now the reward has come, and let's use this for some personal benefit. And at that time you need a real flow, an influx of godly or divine energy that makes you feel better than going for the lower chakra. And that is the Mohini. Mohini is actually she is heart chakra. If you really know what Mohini is purely from the heart, because it is love. Now, it's not for nothing that we say fall in love and love is blind. Because the emotion is so strong that it stops all functioning of sense. But Mohini, if you really know what Mohini is, she is heart chakra. She is the embodiment of the heart chakra in everyone. It is the thing in us that attracts other people to us. And it is an aspect of Kundalini.